Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wild Things Found Online. I am Vokal the Slug Cat, and yeah, man, I am back with a quick update. This will be a very short video, but yeah, she really did it, guys. She really did it. Tophia has officially kicked off the new GoFundMe as about 12 hours ago of me recording this. And I just, I wanted to dive in and see exactly what she's asking for this time around. Uh, and it's actually crazy because I'm pretty sure I had made an estimate of what she would ask for the next GoFundMe, and I was pretty close. I was pretty close. So without further ado, let's take a look at her stories. It looks like she posted a few stories right before she launched this GoFundMe, or maybe right after. And yeah, so she basically announces that she was not going live last night, which would have been Wednesday, and she doesn't know when she'll be back live. Now, I find this interesting. I'm wondering if the shelter is just completely cracking down on her live streaming and social media completely. Obviously, there's eyes on her, and I'm assuming they're keeping track of her activity online. So I think it's interesting that suddenly she's like, I don't know when I'll be back live at all. Because, if there's one thing that Tophia's going to do, it's go live. She's going to stream. So I thought that was very interesting. Let's see what the next story says. Okay, on this story here, she's asking us to share the GoFundMe link that's in her Beacons link. Of course, we won't be doing that. Uh, absolutely not, Tophia. Sorry. And the last story to wrap things up here. Nobody know how scary it is. I'm afraid to loose all my brother's stuff in storage. Tophia, you really got to start like spell checking your post. I can't go live for a while. That means I won't be able to make the money for my bills. People think harassment and trying to dox someone is funny, but it's not. Okay, so with this last story, it makes me feel as if I don't know if people have figured out the shelter for sure. There's speculation on where she's at. Some people have said in my comments she's not there. That the shelter that everyone thinks she's at has stated that she's not there. But I mean, who really knows? We don't really know. But I think it's very interesting that she is again stating she will not be able to go live for a while. And the question becomes, why? Why would you not be able to go live at all? Because okay, you can't record or go live at the shelter. That much we definitely understand. But you have been going out of your way to leave the shelter to do your live streams. So are they just completely cracking down on her social media, period? I think this is very interesting. And I just want to see what the next few days or weeks will hold in regards to her content. Now, with all that being said, we're going to head over to her GoFundMe. All right, so I was very close, guys. I had estimated she was going to knock a zero off the $500,000 from the last GoFundMe and go for 50K. She set the goal for 40K, gang. Like, Tophia, be so for real. What do you need this money for? I just don't understand. Somebody got suckered into dropping a donation. She's got $5 as of recording. And let's jump into the description and see what she's talking about raising this money for. Of course, the title, Help Our Family Heal After Tragedy. And the description reads, on March 11th, our family faced a tragedy we could have never imagined. Now, hold the fuck on, okay? We're going to break this down line by line. One thing I find very interesting right off the rip is she doesn't specify March 11th, 2025, a year ago. By just putting March 11th, this makes it seem like it literally just happened less than a month ago, which is very deceitful. I feel like it's a sly way of trying to frame it as if this just happened when it didn't. Okay, next line. My mom was shot in the face and I barely escaped as the car was taken. Our world has been shattered in an instant. My brother was deeply loved and touched so many lives with his kindness and spirit. Now, as we struggle to lay him to rest, we're also trying to find safety and stability again. Okay, now, I mean, if we're being so for real, Donald was already quote unquote laid to rest. So I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, he's been cremated for quite some time at this point, Tophia. And trying to find safety and stability, I can't tell by your actions because you haven't done anything that makes it seem like those are your goals as of right now. But let's continue. Our dream is to buy a home where our family can finally feel safe and begin to heal. Well, okay, fair enough. I think most people would love to own their own home. Okay. We're humbly asking for your support to help cover funeral and burial costs and to help take the next step toward a secure place to live. Okay, now this line here, Tophia, what are you talking about? Okay, y'all already had a service for Donald. There's no need for a funeral. You already had the service, which was covered by the state. And the burial cost, okay, fair enough. You want to cover the burial cost, okay, $4,100. Now, the last part of this sentence is what throws me off. The next step towards a secure place to live. Tophia, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't buy a home with I'm going to estimate $35,000 would be left over just to round everything out nicely. You can buy a home with $35,000, and even though that's way more than enough to cover getting into a place, no apartment manager is going to allow you to move in without some form of stable income that you can show. The $300, $500 a month that you make on TikTok is not going to cut it as far as your income. Because of course, even, let's say you did get this and it's like you could pay a year of rent up front, but what about all the other expenses as far as like the light bill and groceries for you and your mom? How do you plan on covering the rest of the necessities and essentials that y'all would need? The next line reads, we also need help with 4 months payments of bills. Now, when I first read this, I was like, okay, you want to pay up the next 4 months. But then I thought about it. I was like, yo, has she not been paying on the storage? Is she falling behind on the storage? Because I find it very odd. Why 4 months? I just think it's very interesting the time span she put on it, because it makes it sound like she's 4 months behind. And as we saw in the TikTok stories, she's worried about losing the storage altogether. So is she already behind on these payments and maybe the storage unit is threatening to like auction off the unit? Very possible. Next line reads, any amount helps more than words can say. And thank you for your love, prayers, and compassion during this painful time. Again, like, yes, losing a sibling is a very painful thing, I would imagine. But this didn't just happen, Tophia. This is a year ago. You've had a year to process this loss and grieve. So again, this last line frames it as if this just happened, which is very deceptive. This is why people say you're a scammer, Toph. This is exactly why. And another thing I noticed, you see in the initial GoFundMe, they put his name in the GoFundMe, or I believe it was titled just Donald Slidell Jr. This time, his name is nowhere on this GoFundMe. Why? Because if you were to look up his name, there's news articles and reports of when it happened, and you would see that it happened a year ago. Everything about the way that she has framed this and set this up makes it seem like she doesn't want people to know when this incident took place. So donators will think it just happened, which is very fucking shady, Toph. Now, I just refreshed the browser. It seems like quite a few comments and reactions are coming in. So we're going to go over some of these. The ones that are a little bit more tamer, more mild, but they're on screen. I'll leave them all on screen, but I'll read out the ones that are kind of tame and YouTube friendly. Okay, so we have a bit of spam here. Your PDF brother died 2025, March 11, a year ago. Nobody likes that PDF. Stop scamming people, Tophia, Slidell, you POS. I mean, yeah, like again, like everything about the way that she has framed this and worded it is makes it seem like she's trying to make it seem like it just happened a few weeks ago, which is completely just very shady, bro. I thought you were doing free housing. You don't need 40K. Oh, God, I'm not gonna say that part, but R.I.P. Hershey. Donald Fitzgerald Slidell Jr. passed away 2025, March 11. New Mexico State paid 6K on 6/7, which would be June 7th, 2025. Stop scamming. My thoughts exactly. Donald Jr. passed away in 2025, March 11. Stop fucking scamming people. New Mexico State paid for Donald Slidell's cremation and service. Exactly. The only thing that I feel like she could reasonably ask for if she wanted to be genuine and honest is the burial cost. If they really want to get him buried, I don't personally, I don't feel like you're in a position to where burial is necessary. If anything, I'd be more worried about getting my living circumstances together and getting my life back on track since they've been homeless for so long. Because he's already cremated. You have an urn. You can always bury him at any time at this point, is how I feel. But if you were going to ask for money on GoFundMe, just the burial expenses is what I think would be acceptable. You're a scammer. This happened in 2025, over a year ago. Get a job, you scammer. POS. Why don't you want to get a job? Bum. Stop scamming. Get a job, Tophia. Stop baiting. Get a job. And I mean, yeah, I completely agree with the reactions that we have here so far. But that's pretty much all I got. Now, I'm trying to rationalize why she's asking for so much money. So let's break out our handy dandy calculator. Okay, she's quoted Donald's burial cost multiple times for us. I'm pretty sure it was like $4,120, something like that. So just for numbers' sakes, we're gonna round this up to $4,200. Okay. The next thing we're gonna add in is the 4 months payments of bills. Now, let's see here. We know Tophia, she's paying roughly, we'll say like $250 for the storage, $50 for the cell phone bill, and we'll throw on another $50 for her streaming services. So that's $350 worth of bills per month. So that's going to be an additional $1,400. Okay, we're at $5,600. Now, again, the last thing she's asking for is help to secure a place to live. Again, Tophia doesn't have a stable, reliable income that's at a level that would allow her to move in anywhere, even if she does have this lump sum of money. Best case scenario I can think of for her is that she rents somewhere like privately, maybe she could pay like 6 months flat out of pocket, but I don't see anyone giving her a lease for a full year. I mean, she could pay out a full year if she did raise this money, but I don't see it happening, because if you don't have income, that's going to be a huge red flag for any reputable rental office. So we're just going to keep it at the 5,600. So 40K minus the 5,600. That would leave Tophia with $34,000. What is the $34,000 going to go to? I don't know, because you can't use it to lock in housing. If anything, you might be able to stay at like an extended stay like y'all were before at the motel. So all in all, I feel like this shit's a scam. That's all I got to say about this. I just wanted to bring this to y'all's attention. Um, Yeah, man, back at it again. The gall and audacity of this woman is literally insane. I know she was floating the idea, but I didn't think she was going to actually make one after how the last couple of GoFundMe's went. So, yeah, man, with that being said, that's all I got for y'all right now. Tophia didn't stream last night, so I might just cook up a video for maybe later this week or next week. And yeah, y'all be good, be safe, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other. And I will see you all very soon.